Hey guys, welcome to another WoW Weekly with Myst. Hope everyone's doing good. So this week we have PvP Brawl. It's going to be Deep Dunk. Mythics is the weekly. On Thursday, there's going to be a Volunteer Guard Day. This is a super fun micro event. I actually plan on streaming it. I love this micro event, and I don't know why, because there's nothing real too special with it. But feel free to check out my stream on Thursday then to see me doing it. You just, kill stuff, get titles, and, nothing you get that day you keep. It's only for 24 hours. But that's how the micro events typically roll. And then, of course, on Sunday we'll have Dark Moon Fair. Okay, so for news. Yesterday I posted a full, video regarding the reveal that we had for Dragonflight. It does include my opinions because I was kind of, that was the major reason for posting it, but I did make it informative at the same time for those that maybe don't like to watch that kind of stuff, or you don't care, or you just can't be bothered to, watch, that kind of stuff, right? So that I will link at the end of this video, or you can just go to the channel. It's literally yesterday's video. And yeah, so because of that, I'm not gonna really talk about Dragonflight in today's video because I'm trying to make this a short or at least regular size video this week. So yeah, that was one of the other major reasons. I had thought about putting it in the weekly news, but I knew that video was going to be long. But I do have news still for us. Over on the PTR, there is a new title showing up. It is for the Mawwalker and Veil Strider. So basically what this is it's a new achievement. It's called Walking in Mawmphis, which I thought was kind of clever. And there is a lot of stuff you gotta do. So, gas to 5, that's where you unlock any 5 of the permanent upgrades from Venari. Really easy to do. That's super simple. Better to be lucky than dead. That's where you kill all the rare elites. Another pretty simple one. It's about sending a message. Complete all the following special encounters in the Maw. That one's pretty good too. Hunting party. Complete all 4 hunt types in the Maw. Yep. These are all ones I did early in the game. Trading partners. Earn appreciated reputation with Venari in the Maw. Yep, easy. Soul Keeper's Burden. Rescue 200 souls from the Maw. And then explore the Maw, revealing the covered areas of the world map. And yeah, I'd have to go into my game and see, but I feel like I already have everything for that, and that title's just gonna kind of pop when the patch releases. Yeah, because all that looks very familiar. Yep, pretty sure I've done that and more. I've done a lot of Maw stuff, so yeah. Honestly, one that I really thought would be in there is that achievement with the Tormentor rares. Definitely thought that would be in there. Okay, so let's look at the Veil Strider one now. So Veil Strider's probably going to be a bit of a bigger one. It's called Back from the Beyond. There is a lot of achievements attached to this one. So Castle Nothria, defeat all bosses. This can be done on any difficulty, so if you don't really have a raid team or whatnot, you can do this on LFR. Yeah, it doesn't matter on the difficulty. Chains of Domination, same deal. You can do that on any difficulty. Dead Men Tell Some Tales. this is an achievement that you shouldn't see in your list right now. It is showing that this is new. And it is to complete all 4 campaigns. Yeah, had that one done a long time ago because, you know, alts. And although at that time I knew they were going to be allowing us to swap freely to the Covenants, I still never did, you know, because I had situated all my alts at these different Covenants. And yeah, so I easily have that one done. Fake it till you make it. Yeah, I still gotta work on that one. I don't know what it is because I like the looks of Tazavesh, but I cannot motivate myself to go do it. I have not stepped in there even once. And I even had like some Mythic Plus keys in the past for it. But when I get a Mythic Plus key for it, I'm like, I'll skip that one this week. You know, and I just keep skipping it, right? Like, yeah, I gotta force myself to go into that Tazavesh. From A to Xerath, this one is in the game, and it requires a lot of stuff on its own. So, yeah, you can definitely check that one out. Many things. This one is, it's a little time consuming because there's a little, you can't just, you know, farm it out consistently, but, you know, nonetheless, it's, you know, you research every single talent in the box, and that can be done right now. This next one's a new one, so you won't see it till later, but it is Mythics of the Shadowlands Dungeon. Easy. All you gotta do is, it says it can be done on Mythic or Mythic Keystone, so you can just do Mythic Zeros if you're not really a Mythic Plus player. So, very easy there. But you'll have to wait for that one because that is an absolute new achievement, so yeah. Renown is also gonna be a new achievement coming in, and this is to reach Renown level 80 with each of the 4 Covenants. This one I'm really close on. I've been slacking a bit on the alts lately, and yeah, but they are close. My main's 80, and the alts are sitting at around 70, so yeah, I'll be damn close to that by the time it comes out. Actually, I'll probably be done by the time the patch comes out. On the offensive, so that's complete 6 of the Covenant Assault achievements listed below. Easy, done. Sanctum Superior, this is to unlock rank 3 of all 4 Covenant upgrades. I can't remember if I have all 4 Covenant upgrades at rank 3. I'd have to look at that one. Sanctum of Domination, once again, all the raid bosses on any difficulty. Secrets of the First Ones. Most of us should have that. That is the full storyline for Xerath. Sepulture of the First Ones. So completing all bosses on any difficulty. Another new one here is Shadowlands Dilettante. And this is to complete each of the Covenant's special feature achievements below. Pursuing loyalty is to overcome the first 8 trials of loyalty. Ooh, ouch. Okay. So that was the Kyrian one. Be our guest. This is Venthyr. So host the following guests at your Ember Court. And then Things to Do When You're Dead is the Necro one. Complete the Abominable Stitching achievements listed below. And Much Appreciated is the Night Fae one where you earn Exalted with the Mushroom guy, fun gal. I do have the Night Fae one. I am pretty close on the Necro. Well, sorta. I think I'm close, but I don't know what else left. But I do have half. Yeah. It's a Wrap is a super easy achievement. I did that like right away as soon as I had access to actually do that. I just kind of knocked it out. Where I'm going to struggle a bit is, well, the Trials of Loyalty. Those are a little rough, and I still got to unlock some stuff for that. So, but I did do the first boss. So, yeah, we got that, I guess. And Be Our Guest. I find that tea part to be so boring. Like Ember Court, I have had it opened and I've had my character out there for so long, but I lack the motivation to do it. You know, like, yeah, it's rough. So this one is gonna take some heavy duty motivation on my part. Next one is Tower Ranger. So this is to complete the following Torghast achievements. Layer 16, Flawless Master. That one's not bad. Layer 8, Twisting Corridors. Already got that. Master of Torment. So that's just 4 achievements to do while you're in Torghast. And then Adamant Vaults, that's literally just to make it there and complete it. So you'll get that one the first time you manage to get to Adamant Vaults. And that one can be done on any layer. And then Jailer Gauntlet Layer 8, not bad, you know. The Jailer Gauntlet is a lot like Twisting Corridors in a sense, where it's tough in the beginning, but as you gear, you know, things will get easier. So yeah, there was a lot of people, you know, really complaining about the Jailer's Gauntlet when the patch released, but that happened with Twisting Corridors too. You know, Twisting Corridors was really tough when it first came out, and now, you know, the average person can do a layer 8. So don't worry if you're struggling right now on a layer 8 for Jailer's Gauntlet. You'll get there. You know, gear will help you. That achievement alone gets you a title, so you will actually get the Tower Ranger title from doing that achievement. And then the final one that is in this mix is that Walking in Mawmphis that I told you about first. So damn, that is a hell of a fucking achievement. That is like a bunch of meta achievements in a meta achievement, you know? Okay, so next up we have an update for crafting, the legendary crafting. So this is coming in the next patch. There's going to be a nerf to the legendary crafts. So this has to do with it requiring you to gain new ranks. And so you're now only required to craft 3 base legendary items to gain a new rank. I gotta say, kudos to those that are crafting these and selling them. I was going to. Yeah, I remember when this first came out, my biggest plan was that it was actually my shaman that was going to make my druid's gear, because that's my leather worker, right? Because my druid mains like enchanting and an inscription, right? So she doesn't actually have any like profession stuff, but major, you know, any crafting type stuff. But my shaman was going to do that, and yeah, that did not last long. I saw how many times you had to make useless items to be able to rank up. And yeah, and I didn't look back. I never looked back. I said, fuck it. I will just get some money and buy it off the auction house. And that was it. Yeah. And yeah, so I think them nerfing this and making it so you can get it a little faster is good. So one thing that's been on many players' minds is the sword that's in Silithis. And this one's an interesting one because back in 2020, which, you know, 2 years ago, T&E, who is a WoW, you know, channel for those that don't know, they had asked basically that question, just it was in a different expansion, right? But they said, you know, will the sword disappear from Silithis? And then that response was the sword has a part to play in something to come. And now, you know, that was in BFA. Now we're in Shadowlands, and we have the news for Dragonflight, and people are still wondering what's going on with this sword. So the most recent, you know, question here is, what's actually happening with the rest of Azeroth? Will we see any revisions or adjustments there? After all, there's still a big sword in the side of our world soul. Ian says, we used our artifact weapons to drain the corruption from that sword in 2018. I very much remember that. A sad moment, because that is the day that I lost, like, the best, you know, the best and most power I ever felt I had in the entire game. I have felt weak ever since that. And, yeah, and that's even with the increase of item level. Although, is it really an increase? We have been a higher item level than we are now, so, like, I don't know. Hard to say. But anyway, he says, everything's fine, it's just a big splinter, but no, this is a story that really focuses on the new continent of the Dragon Isles. As always, there are going to be some stories that touch Stormwind or Orgrimmar, or other major parts of Eastern Kingdoms or Kalimdor, but we're not updating or doing significant new stuff in those old zones. It's really about the Dragon Isles. Okay, so sword will still be there. That is one day that sticks out in my mind, like, a lot with WoW 2, is the day we went over there and channeled our artifact weapon. I will admit, when Legion first came out, I was not fond of the artifact weapon, and it grew on me over time. Was I happy with it? No, I don't think I ever was, but you learn to just accept things in WoW. Like, if you're not the person that is like, fuck this, I'm out, then you learn to accept things. You know, I'm sure there's many of us that have hated things, and you just want to play the game, and you deal with it, and you accept it, and yeah. And that was kind of the case with me with the Legion artifact weapons. Ever since that day, I have felt so weak in the game. You know, my most power, I feel, was in Legion as a boomkin. Like, you just did such a amazing damage. Shadowlands came close. Like, Shadowlands was kind of like, you know, sorry for taking your moons away, here you go. You know? Yeah, and they did have the moon ability, like, in your talents, but it wasn't the same. Like, in Legion, there was, like, a rotation of it. You threw down the first one, and it was, like, mediocre. You threw down the second one, it was, like, you know, it was pretty decent damage. And then you threw down the third one, and you wiped everything out. It was like, yeah, it was like a one-shot kill. And yeah, and I missed that one. Don't get me wrong, Convoke is awesome, but in my eyes, that was the best balance druid ability. Yeah. So I can only speak from a balanced druid aspect of Legion, but I imagine most people feel like I do when it comes to us losing those Legion powers, because everyone was pretty powerful in Legion. Yeah. Okay, so that concludes the news for retail. Let's talk a little on Classic. So I was gonna do a separate video for this, but then I was like, it's Classic Lich King. It's not like I have not played that game. Like, I was literally at the store in line at midnight buying that game when it first came out. Yeah, the good old days. I kind of miss those days where you bought it in store, you waited in line with a bunch of other geeks like you, and yeah, and then you went home and played the fuck out of your game. You know, those were fun times. Now you just buy everything online, right? Although I do like my online shopping, you know, it's yeah, it means I don't have to deal with people. But back then, you know, I'm glad that, well, two things. I'm kind of glad I'm the age I am and I got to experience WoW, you know, at a good time of my life. You know, most people have either didn't get to experience the early days of WoW, or they were a kid when they entered it. Most of the content creators that I see, you know, nowadays either didn't see it or they were like, you know, in elementary school or, you know, junior high or something. And I'm an older individual, and I was in my early 20s when vanilla came out. So honestly, it was a pretty good time in my life. I was young, but not too young. You know, I was on my own. I made my own rules, basically. It was the start of me running my own life. And so I was able to put those kind of hours into that game. I did have responsibilities, of course. I was in college. It was, you know, the first years of college, pretty much. And because I had taken like a little break after high school. I took like a 2-year break after high school, after I graduated, and then I went to college, which I highly, if you are young, I highly suggest that. I've seen so much downfall when people like go straight from high school to college. Me taking that break, I feel like that was really good for me, and then I was refreshed going into college. But anyway, you know, sidetracking a bit. Point is that I feel like I was at a good age. I didn't have parents over my shoulders, you know, telling me when to go to bed or how much computer time I should have. You know, it was a good time in my life. And because of that, I was really able to experience Vanilla, BC, Lich King, all those early expansions for what it truly was. And I, to this day, am grateful for that, you know, because you can never get that feeling back. And that was a time in WoW where things were a lot different. Like, hell, when I first started playing WoW, I was on dial-up internet. I was playing off dial-up internet. And yeah, there were lots of disconnects in the game and lots of lag. Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting to look back on those days, you know? Like fucking, I'm pretty sure floppy disks were still a pretty big thing back then. So yeah, I just, you know, sometimes I hate getting older, but one thing that I do like about getting older is that you do remember, you know, those old times, and, you know, yeah. Okay, well, enough aging myself there. Let's move on. So we got news that the Wrath of the Lich King Classic is going to release in 2022, so that is this year. And yeah, I imagine somewhere between June and November, I guess. November seems to be like the average one for retail, but I feel like June is kind of more the timeline for the classic ones. Death Knights will be available in the pre-patch. I am totally gonna play Death Knight. When I first played Wrath of the Lich King, I made the Death Knight, and it was actually my first and only ever male character. So yeah, that, you know, that's pretty cool. Level 70 boosts will be available. I'm not against the boosts, honestly. Because it's a game that has been out for a while, and you're just kind of reliving the past, and I think I can speak for a lot of us that some of us don't stay in there, you know? We just want to kind of relive the past for a bit, and then we move on. We either go back to our retail game or we go play some other games. Like, there's, you know, there's a community of people who are like diehard classic But then there's a community of people like myself that's like, yeah, I've been there, done that, you know. I'll go do some new content, you know? Yeah. Even if it's crappy, at least it's new. So I think boosts are good for that because, you know, I think without them, you probably wouldn't see some of those people. Death Knights will not be part of those boosts, so you will have to level a Death Knight normally. I'm probably just gonna drag my Druid over because she's in the BC, and I'll just do a swap. I don't think you know, I'm not gonna take advantage of the boost, but I do think it's, you know, a good idea to have it there. You know, it's not like in other games where they're like, oh, you skipped all the content, you're not gonna know what's going on now. It's like, hello, it's an 18-year-old game. Like, we know what goes on. You know, we know what would have happened through that path line. Dungeon Finder has been removed. I think that one's a good one. I know there's, you know, mixed feelings with this one. But I think at least for the beginning, for the launch, keep it as social-based as you can. Because that is the glory of Classic, in my opinion. It brings the community together. And yeah, there's very much a social aspect to it. If retail proves anything, it kind of does prove that Dungeon Finder destroyed that after a while. No one's like, in retail, no one's out there to help you. You know, you're on your own. You figure out your own shit and do the best you can so that you're not fucking yelled at, you know? Like, yeah. Classic's a little different, you know. There's the social aspect, which means people are more willing to help you. Then, you know, they're probably not gonna yell at you too much. There's also some new Wrath merchandise on the Blizzard store. So there's this poster, which is $150. The helmet is $400, and the shirt is $25. Okay, so that concludes the classic stuff. Now for the most recent, and luckily I procrastinated this video because I just kind of wanted to relax last night and decided to sneak it in right before I normally post. I usually do these videos a day in advance, but because I didn't, we can sneak this in. This is info that we got this morning. Diablo Immortal. We have a release date. It is June 2nd. I know there's probably a bunch of you like, why is she adding a mobile game in? And to be honest, I probably would have done it anyway. But I'm actually excited for this one now because when they released that release date, you know what else they released? They released a PC support. And I would have been interested this whole time if they had mentioned a PC port happening. So the fact that we can play this on the PC, yeah, I totally will play this. Yeah, because the thing is, like, the reason I don't really like these mobile games is because I don't like looking at that tiny window of my phone, you know, and using my finger to fucking move things across the screen. Like, yeah, that is not for me. You know, I need a big screen. I need preferably a keyboard and a mouse. That is awesome. I think that is really good that they're gonna have like full PC support and at launch. So on June 2nd, you will be able to choose mobile or phone. For PC, the requirements are pretty basic. You'll be fine. Operating system is 7, 8, 10, and 11. NVIDIA GTX 460, you know, an i3, you know, like you'll be okay. 4 gigs of RAM, like, yeah, you're gonna be fine. Like, I'll just list them. It's almost pointless to read that out. But yeah, you're gonna be completely fine. These are low requirements. Okay, so let's run this trailer. This is the reveal that happened today.
Hello everyone, this is Wyatt Cheng, Game Director of Diablo Immortal. Thank you all for tuning in to our YouTube premiere today. I have some very exciting news that I can't wait to share with you. To everyone who has been eagerly anticipating the release of Diablo Immortal, you won't have to wait much longer. So without further ado, check it out. Welcome back, everybody. This is Wyatt here again, and I'm joined now by Adam Fletcher, also known as Pez Radar. He's our community lead for all things Diablo. How's it going, Adam?
Doing great, Wyatt. I'm pretty excited for all the great announcements that we had today for Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal coming to PC along with mobile is huge, and I know the community is going to have a ton of different questions to ask related to this, and I think the biggest one will be, why PC? Why are we bringing Diablo Immortal to PC?
It's always been our goal with Diablo Immortal to make a Diablo game a AAA experience that could reach as many players as possible. And we knew that by building it for mobile, that would be the best way to do that. Diablo Immortal is not only our first game built from the ground up for mobile, it's also our biggest and most ambitious Diablo game to date. It's going to have rich social systems. It has deep progression systems that allow players to continually play the game, customize their character, and make their character more powerful over time. As we started to explore how we're going to reach new players and bring new players into the Blizzard family, we knew if our goal is to truly reach as many players as possible, we should be on PC as well. By being on both mobile and PC, we know that everybody will be able to enjoy Diablo Immortal, whether or not you have a phone.
Sounds amazing, Wyatt. I think I'm pretty excited for Diablo Immortal along with a lot of other people. I think the next big question that the community has to ask is, when can they get their hands on Diablo Immortal?
Of course, the eternal when's it coming out? Well, the team's been hard at work, and we're really excited to be able to announce today that we are launching on June 2nd. And later that month in select Asia-Pacific regions.
That's awesome to hear. June is right around the corner. I know people are really excited for the date. I think people are also really excited to hear a little bit more about how the game plays on PC, especially if they've been following the development of the mobile version over the past couple years.
It plays great on PC, and another thing I'm really happy to be able to share is that you have full cross-play and cross-progression. That means you could be playing on PC, and your friends that you're in a party with, they could be on mobile or PC on the platform of their choice. And then, it's super cool to be at home playing on your PC, and then suddenly you realize you need to head out the door, so you just log out, grab your phone, log yourself in, you're right where you left off from, and you can take the game with you on the go.
That's awesome to hear that I can take Diablo Immortal on the go or play from the comfort of my own home. I think people will be really excited about that. I know that Diablo Immortal is coming for mobile and uses touchscreen controls. Can you explain to us how the controls will work on PC?
Yeah, absolutely. During our last closed beta, we added controller support for mobile, and players really responded positively, telling us that they loved being able to connect a controller to their phone to play Diablo Immortal. Well, we're adding controller support to the PC version of the game as well, so those controls will feel identical. But not everyone wants to play with a controller, so we'll be adding mouse and keyboard support as well.
That's great to hear. I've personally always enjoyed playing all my Diablo games using mouse and keyboard, so it's great to hear that it's coming to Immortal. How is that experience on Diablo Immortal?
In Diablo Immortal, you can use your basic primary attack as well as movement using the mouse buttons, as players will probably be familiar using the left and right mouse buttons, and activate your abilities. By default, they're bound to 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the keyboard with a potion on cue. And for the first time ever in a Diablo game, we're also going to support moving using WASD. I really enjoy playing that way. Since Diablo Immortal, if you come from the touchscreen controls, allowed movement and aiming, it's nice to be able to move around with WASD while aiming a skill using the mouse. It feels super natural.
That's amazing to hear. We're getting WASD controls in Diablo. I think people are also going to ask, like, how does the game look on PC?
It looks gorgeous. The thing about our phones these days is our phones actually have very high resolutions. The pixel density on your phone is very high. So we can still run at a great resolution on PC, and the game just looks absolutely gorgeous.
So as you mentioned earlier, Diablo Immortal is the biggest Diablo game to date. What can players expect from this title?
Well, whether players choose to play on either mobile or PC, they'll be getting the latest in the Diablo franchise. Now, Diablo Immortal is a huge game. We've got 6 character classes, including some iconic favorites like the Barbarian, the Wizard, the Necromancer. And there's going to be a whole main quest storyline for players to play their way through. This main quest storyline is going to explore 8 different zones throughout Sanctuary. And as you go through, the timeline is set in between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Players are going to meet up with Deckard Cain and try to locate the fragments of the World Stone. Now, if players remember, at the end of Diablo 2, Tyrael had just shattered the corrupted World Stone, and those fragments were scattered all over Sanctuary. And so this is the player's opportunity to assist Deckard Cain in finding those World Stone fragments and destroying them.
So Diablo fans have always loved the loot aspect within the games. What can players expect for Diablo Immortal when it comes to loot?
Well, Diablo Immortal definitely has the familiar monster slaying action that players are familiar with. And when you kill those monsters, you want to see that loot pop out. And players will be able to grab that loot and use it to customize their characters. We've got legendary items that really change up your skills, as well as set items that confer additional bonuses to how your character plays. Now, during closed beta, we did get some feedback on our items as well as the general gameplay, and we have even more improvements planned, and we'll have more details to reveal about that as we get closer to launch.
I'm super stoked to hear about all the news coming for Diablo Immortal and the release date. Did you have any final closing thoughts for the community here today?
Well, it's a very exciting time. I'm very happy to be able to announce our launch date on June 2nd. And on behalf of the entire team, I want to thank everyone who's been supporting and showing their enthusiasm for Diablo Immortal. We can't wait to get the game into your hands. Now, our street date is June 2nd, but if you haven't yet already, just a reminder that you can pre-register for the game. It's going to be out on both iOS and Android, and of course now, PC.
Thanks again, Wyatt, for all the information, and thanks to everyone for tuning in today. For more information on Diablo Immortal, make sure to follow us on social media and to check out DiabloImmortal.com. We'll see you in Westmarch.
Okay. Well, that was pretty cool. I gotta say, I'm really glad that they chose to bring this to the PC. And I will mention that if we knew it was going to the PC, earlier, there probably would have been even more hype for this game. The way they announced it at that BlizzCon was just horrible. Yeah, and he made mention that PC was always part of the plan. I guess I just don't understand, especially with all the hate that was occurring at that BlizzCon with them releasing a Diablo, people hoping for D4 news, and they got this, and it was, mobile only. I guess I don't understand why they wouldn't have just released that little bit of info saying that they do plan on it being for the PC eventually. Like, that would smooth things over so much that day if they would have just done that one little thing. But nonetheless, I'm happy to see it over on the PC. And the crossplay is really good. I like that. There's not too many situations where I am playing a game on my phone, and if there is, it definitely means I'm not in the house. But it is nice to know that, like, you know, I could play at home, and then, you know, say I go to work and on break I'm playing Immortal for, you know, not that long, because breaks aren't that long, right? But it's nice to know that that kind of all transfers over. You could play with your friends, and yeah, I thought this was a really great reveal, honestly. I know there's probably some hate regarding it, but I can't see how there would be so much hate now that now that they have chosen to put it on PC. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and you'll definitely see me playing this in June. Okay, so that pretty much calls it on the news. I don't have any accomplishments for this week because I didn't really do anything. As some of you know, I had some computer issues earlier in the week. They were quoting me a really long time to get the part that I needed, so I ended up just getting a new computer. Instead. I like it though. I have the most RAM I've ever had because I ripped the RAM out of my old computer. So because of that, I didn't actually have a computer till Thursday. So I was without a computer the past couple of weeks. And so I got the computer Thursday, and then basically I would say Thursday night and most of Friday I was like setting up everything back on the computer. And then I had to get to the editing because I wanted to at least be able to sneak my opinions and the reveal in before the week ended, so it was still in that same week. And yeah, so with all that, I just did not have time to really accomplish much in the game. I've maybe played one night since, you know, getting the computer. Yeah. I love my WoW, but, you know, editing does take time away from WoW sometimes. So, no accomplishments, but I'm sure I'll have some for next week. One thing I do want to add in, and this is something that was in the works before, you know, before stuff kind of went downhill. It was what I was supposed to announce to you guys 2 weeks ago. Okay, so you guys know that I used to stream on Twitch, right? And it's always been like, you know, where should I stream? I always choose YouTube because YouTube honestly is just a better vibe. And I recently realized that I don't need to make that choice, you know? I always, like, that's why I don't stream on Twitch right now. It's because I thought I had to make a choice between the two. Right? But it turns out that I can stream on both if I want. And I kind of left the evening community like in the dust 2 years ago when I decided to come over to YouTube. If you're part of that, watching, my bad. You know, like, you gotta do what you gotta do as a creator, right? And I didn't know back then. So apparently the rule is that you can't stream at the same time on multiples, but you can shut down a stream and then stream over there after. So I've decided that I want to split the streams up. I like YouTube more, don't get me wrong. YouTube I think is better. But Twitch definitely has its positives as well. And I want to do some random games. And one, like, this was honestly the biggest reason for this, is that I want to stream some random games. And I just don't feel like I can do that on the YouTube channel. You know, I feel like everyone only wants WoW, and I get it. We're a WoW channel, like that's fine. But, you know, if they're gonna get like super, super low views, like I'm okay with, I'm okay with less than 100 views, but I'm not okay with 5. You know, if I'm gonna do low views, I'll just go to Twitch where it's oversaturated and get those low views over there. You know, so yes. I didn't want to lose you guys as a community. I love the YouTube community. So there is a different schedule going on now. So YouTube will stay at the time frame it is. It's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 12 to 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And then on Twitch, I'm going to stream evening, which is actually my normal streaming schedule. Just we kind of swapped that the past 2 years. But yeah, that is the normal time I would stream. And so over on Twitch, that will be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Time. And that is going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, once again, Twitch will be more games that aren't WoW, but you will see WoW once in a while. Like, especially hype moments. Like, if I still want to play WoW, I'm not going to purposely swap to a random game. I just feel it might be better for those random games. I do like to upload playthroughs when they're complete, though, on the YouTube channel. So at some point you would see them, but they'd be edited videos rather than streams. And yeah, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.